and the topic I'm going to talk now maybe could be a bit worse, so let's try to make it funnier. If you were studying in former Soviet Union school, you probably know this trick. If you can stand up for 1 second, everyone, if you want to join the show.
It's okay.
So basically, when the kids were bored in the classroom during the Soviet era, they were usually saying something like, "Okay, kids, now please raise your hands and do the claps." And then we know that he was writing a note and your arms are really tired, so please make your arms in front and do something like this. It's just for all of us to get a bit warmer. Thanks a lot, and let's keep on with this. Sorry, I will just test. Okay, it's working with this. So me, I was one from Kharkiv. I'm a fifth person, so you already heard a lot about this city. And I'm going to talk tonight about the project, which is actually lifelong observations. I will explain you later on why. And it's 1 year kind of theoretical and practical research that I did in my last in university as my last project. Location called Northern 1, 524 Mikrorayon. For you to know, is these two white squares over there in a place called Saltivka. And Kharkiv, as most of the post-Soviet cities, is carrying a lot of those sleeping areas that we were just listening now. And just again, for all of us to understand, Saltivka is this area, so it occupies the vast space. And then this is as well as sleeping areas like this, same typology, and this one at the top as well. So pretty a lot, as you can imagine. And then when you live in this area, you always ask yourself, why does it appear to be like that, and where is it coming from? And me, I was really interested in this issue, plus I think because of our university that pushed us to study history, I went on to study the Soviet architecture and history, and for sure I touched a lot of the ground of politics, which was actually the one giving the task for the architects. And in 1954, the Khrushchev said the crucial phrase, the first one, which is apartment for each family. And for sure we all understand that this is the period of the Second World War, so people need shelter to cover their needs, pure basic needs. And when this guy is saying this, holding, actually it was corn, I changed it for the house. So he was giving house for everyone. It was really bold statement, and then you think, okay, but how we will do it? And the answer was also very simple, is that after the Second World War, people not only need shelter, but they also need labor. So they were using industry in order to create all these sleeping areas in a very fast moment, which for me was really interesting, because I think that the problem is coming from this fact that they did it very fast, and then the people were not able to actually kind of live on in these areas. So in Kharkiv, for example, all of this started to happen in 1964. From this period, we received all of those areas, and then in 1991, another guy said something like, "Ooh, I don't know what we did." And the USSR finished, the state collapsed, and the people were feeling like, "Oh my God, what to do now?" Before we were told what we should do, and now we really don't know. And from the one hand, we have independence. From another hand, we were always told what is meant to be in our life, where to live, where to go, which road we should use, which kindergarten we should give our kids, and no one will tell this to us now. And me, I was born in 1991 as well, so that's why it's a very kind of personal thing for me as well. I started to live in these neighborhoods from the age of 4, when my family moved to one of those microrayons. And we were moving a lot. I think I changed 3 or 4 of them. But what was the good point is that I don't need to learn new routes because they were all the same. And the only thing that was changing over there is nature. So, for example, this is a spring and this is a winter. Just iPhone sketches, so don't pay that much attention. And then I thought, okay, maybe I'm not the only person who is asking these questions of what to do in these areas now. Because me, myself, I was studying in a city center from the age of 7. So I was experiencing the difference of the city center and of these neighborhoods where I wasn't feeling comfortable because actually I was just bored. And there was nothing to do on the street and there were no friends of mine because me, I was studying in the center. So I was commuting each day. And then I discovered in university that a lot of my colleagues, they are also living in these neighborhoods. And we started to have different talks on the matter, okay, what is the problem is about. And we realized that actually the thing is that the state changed the way we organize our society. And probably our needs changed as well. So we just should advance with them and to learn from the people as well that are living in these areas, what do they want? And I launched a group in a social network where I was just putting questions to the people and pictures, some drawings, saying like, what do you think about that? How do you feel about this? So it was kind of offline communication, and then I decided to go online. And I started to talk with all of these grandmas and mothers with kids. And at the beginning they were shocked, like, why do we ask them these questions? And when I said that, look, I'm the young architect and I'm trying to understand what is changing in our society and how I can help you using my technical skills if you need it, or maybe I don't need to be an architect in this case and I just need to be a human being as well, because me, myself, I live here and I want to enjoy this space as well as you. So after all these talks, I realized that during the already 24 years, all these people, they were also looking for solutions. And it was pretty chaotic, the answers that they gave to us. All of these dots, these new functions that appeared on the area. I don't know if all of us know what is Mikrorayon about, but it's an area 80 or 80 meters long and width. So it's huge space, almost like a little village. And before in the Soviet Union it was only housing, kindergarten and school. And then you may have a hospital and a theater, but you need to walk 4 of these blocks far. And now the people realize that, okay, we don't work at the factory anymore. We need to earn money somehow, because it's capitalism after 1991. And they started to run the smallest business. This small dot is a kiosk. The different color means different function of the kiosk. Like someone was selling food and someone was selling socks. And actually in 1995 someone was selling drugs as well in these places. So some of them were pretty dangerous. And then those that were having a bit of more money, they started to buy flats on the first floor and they started to open business on the first floor. I'm pretty sure you all see this lottery or bride agency or travel agency. And the only concern that we can have as an architects or technicians is like, guys, it's all chaos, let's organize it a bit, because otherwise you see that the fire car cannot enter into this neighborhood anymore. So maybe you will be injured if there will be fire. So let's try to organize it a bit. And I did this mapping, so this is these 2 areas of my research. And then the teacher told me like, this is a lot, you should focus on something. And we decided with him that we will take this small area over here because I discovered a very interesting thing, that people did not only, they opened not only new functions, but they also opened new routes, but they all were unfinished, broken, because it was either old money from the Soviet Union, or they did new routes, or some of them were using their own textures and materials to mark their route. And I became really fascinated with this idea of, okay, let's study all of them, and then let's just make connections, just for people to have routes instead of lines. And so it was one of the things, and then I thought, okay, the same can be done with functions. Like, for example, like this is what I already told you, like some small food area, cafe, where you can have your bride and at the same time your funerals. I mean, they give all of this to you here. And then the market, and then another market. And so I just mapped all of these things here, and I thought, okay, together with routes and together with functions, we can no longer see these areas as like green areas, as was said during the Soviet Union. They say that all of these will be just a park for people to use, and these pink squares is playgrounds for kids to relax. Someone told us about this today, and I was really fascinated. But kids don't play here, actually. And then, if you combine the routes together with the functions, probably you will have some zones. And I was interested in this one, because if I will go back, this is the alley from this area, and it's very interesting because it got public functions. People, it was really simple. Imagine 3 kiosks selling beers, and then there is a row of benches next to it, because it was former Soviet stage where they were giving speeches. So people really gather over there. And then you think that, okay, me as an architect, I can provide them probably just a tent or something like this for them to be able to gather there during the winter period. And then I thought, okay, but for this I need to know if these people really need it and if they're willing to pay for it. Because I honestly think that these kind of programs that were done by the Soviet Union, they were paid by the state. And that's why they were able to get life, to be built. And now, as far as we are living in different economic and social circumstances, probably we should find another ways of investing in our own places. And then I was thinking, okay, how I can explain or how I can start to interact with these people that are living in the area. And I came to the idea, actually this is the method that I'm testing now after my theoretical research, that me as an architect, I can have an idea after observing what people are doing, and then I can provide a small experiment, and I can become a field architect, like doing my projects on the field together with them. Like, for example, with this beer place, together with a colleague of mine, we applied for a grant, and we are going, if we win, finally, we will try to make a festival over there to see if people will be able to use this area in the way they want. So, me as an architect, I came with the idea that we need to change the scale. If before we were designing from the bird eye view, then now probably we should go to the human view, and not only to communicate with these people, but also to design together with them. And then for sure I was playing, because I'm an architect and I was needed to submit my diploma, so they were asking for drawings, and I decided, okay, the 2 main problems now on site that actually everyone is having, is a big headache. First is parking, because in the Soviet Union no one was having cars, and now we all have cars, so we park them whatever, anywhere. And if we will just apply really simple rules, like, okay guys, this is the area for parking, this is how we will mark it, and we can still have some trees over there, so we can take part of your yard, but without taking out the trees, and to organize the parking instead of having chaos. And then the second problem, actually not a problem, but the interesting point is that most of the area is covered by these nice details. I'm pretty sure you all know what it is a winter fridge that people was having. Just in front of each house, you may see it. So it's underground, digged underground fridge where people are storing potato, tomato, and whatever other stuff. So maybe if you will give additional square meters, they will have it. But honestly, for me, this is a more architectural joke. I don't really think that we can build something on top of these old Soviet buildings. But it was a joke. Okay, out. We just need to give them space where they can store it. And this is one of the possible solutions. Or another one, let's build a common fridge for everyone, or something like this. I don't know, it could be a lot of things. And I would like to say that it should be discussed together with the community, with the owners of at least one house. And then more of the small ideas is that now the main texture is grass and concrete, but if we will add more, like for example on the picture that I found myself, to have wooden passwalk, you already have extra things, so more textures will bring diversity, and the same of the usage of the space. Now these red dots is people, and they are entering, and black lines is a house, so they enter only to the house, and then no one is using the central part of the area. But if there will be a hot spot in the center, for sure it will be changed. And the same, for example, with safety lighting in the evening. Now the light is going around the building, so for people to be able to enter, but the center is dark, so it's quite dangerous, and as we all know, a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts, they usually gather here. But again, if we will have something else over there, and we will light this space, then probably people will use it in the evening as well. So all of these nice ideas I compiled in 3 different layers, in a sense of, this is the layer 1, is a layer of test that I was talking about. So really simple ideas, like, okay, let's make a festival. For this, we just need a projector and a small tent, and then let's watch a movie and see what would happen when the people would like to organize it later on themselves in this area. And then maybe all of these small ideas can grow into smaller buildings if they need it, if people need these areas. And then for sure, we as an architects, we can use another layer, actually not architects, but planners, that actually are now not existing and not present in the discussion, in Kharkiv at least. We received our master plan from Kiev, which is wrong, in my opinion. So, and then for these people to be able to control the safety and the regulation rules, they can use this layer, and so all of these are compiled together. As I think someone already showed this in brief, I feel quite close to this idea of having micro and micro and medium level. And yeah, the last image that I was going to show you is that my just simple vision of, if we have a house, then the house should have some private area, and then this is this small idea of the cars, and the usage of different textures allows all of us to understand that, okay, this is really the area where we want to play, but it shouldn't be just a swing, it should be something more, like public space. But then someone is also doing sports in these areas, so it requires a bit more additional things like extra lighting, extra texture on the floor, maybe some fence not to hit the people and blah, blah, blah. So just a very small example, like it could be this, could be something else, but it was just a play and an approach to think what we can do with these post-Soviet neighborhoods, because I hear a lot of talks that architects usually say, we should just bomb them and build it again. I don't think that this will work, because the main problem is that we already tried to build something once in 5 years, and it didn't work. So for 24 years, people were developing some chaotic structure, and maybe we can learn out of it and just advance in this approach and to help a bit with our technical knowledge. So thanks a lot for your attention.